Welcome, welcome. Here I am for our Friday planning series. I'm Pam Drzwicki, owner of Powerful Purpose, productivity coach, helping you get things done that you want with confidence and no guilt. And today, part of this series is going to be the gold is in the follow-up. Or you might have heard the fortune is in the follow-up, but I thought this would be an awesome topic to share, especially for our business owners, our salespeople, our entrepreneurs, or even just inside your regular career. If you have to follow up with your manager or team members, that remembering these tips are really, really important in getting the results that you want. So each week I come to you on Friday and I share with you a topic that I feel is dear in building businesses, careers, or your lives. And they all the topics come from either my power words or my conversations with my clients, conversations with my engagers in my Take Back My Life community that I have of group coaching to literally do that, take back your life. So the gold is in the follow-up, I thought was interesting. And this branches out from where I came from in the insurance industry, right? The gold was in that follow-up. The gold was in the fortune was in that follow-up to get the desired results that we needed to move forward, okay? So if you've ever had to make a contact call, or be in touch with a client. And I'm going to start this one with a little bit of statistics to kind of flush out why it's so important to get this follow-up in, okay? So as I was researching some statistics, there's this website called followupsuccess.com. And it had said that 48% of salespeople never followed up. After that first contact, they never made another call. Why do you think that is? What I've found is that when they get off the call or have a sales conversation or meet with somebody, they walk away and they figured, well, if it was important enough for them, they'll get back to me. And that's getting in their story, right? And we don't want to be in their story. We want to listen to what they're saying and engaging, but we know that our lives are busy and things kind of go off to the wayside, even if they are important items. So it's our job to be in touch, to follow up with them. So that was 48% never follow up after that first call. 25% of salespeople make the second contact. Okay, so they go ahead and they say, all right, I'm going to make that contact and I'm going to follow up with them. And 12% of them make the third contact. So those are interesting statistics, and I'm sure you know somebody, or maybe they resonate with you. But this is really a good area to zone in on if the results aren't happening. We have to have our core marketing strategies in place on a daily basis to generate the success that we're looking for, generating the activity we're looking for inside our businesses. So we take those statistics and now listen to this. 2% of sales end up in that first contact. So you talk to somebody, you meet with somebody, and 2% of that conversation turns into a sale, or into a customer, or into a client, or into some sort of revenue-generated relationship, okay? 3% of those are sales on the second contact, the second one. So remember, only 25% of salespeople make that second contact. And out of those 25% that are making that contact, only 3% of them are making a sale. So wonder why Sales could be frustrating after a while, and it shows you that we really need to be engaged in that process of following up, that it's not going to happen, or to a very slim chance it's going to happen on that first sale. And usually when you have that first conversation, it's really building the foundation of that relationship. And that is key in the follow-up, is building that relationship. So now they're saying 5% of those make some sort of sale on the third attempt. Now remember, we go back, only 12% of people end up making their third contact. 10% on the fourth contact, and then 80% on the 5th to the 12th contact. So when I was in the insurance industry, we had a 12-touch process of following up with either prospects or clients 12 times. And in that 12-step process, we were able to stay in touch with them, reach out to them, be in front of them, doing different fun things. Maybe sending them a thank you note, maybe sending them a little token, sending them an article, wishing them a happy birthday, all of these different follow-ups. And what that did was that was solidifying the relationship, an authentic relationship with either an existing client or a prospect. But it goes back that, what is your follow-up strategy? Do you have a follow-up strategy? If you don't have a follow-up strategy, taking a step back and thinking about what is it that you need to have in place when you do your direct outreach. Okay? Story for you. So I was referred to somebody, and I was connected to her through LinkedIn. We were in contact for probably a year. Just little notes every so often. Hey, just checking in on you. Wanted to see how you were doing. Giving a like on something that she shared. Just really engaging with her and building some kind of relationship. After 12 months, I got her on my calendar. And I was really excited because I knew that once I started working with her, she would be an ideal client for me. And I would really be able to help her and her team with what they wanted to happen. So I became very, what I call, politely persistent. And so I get her on the calendar after 12 months of contact. And I was so excited that I finally had her on the calendar and that I was going to be able to have a real conversation with her and just start really talking about things and getting to know her and her team better. Well, a few days after I scheduled that, she said she was really busy and she had to cancel the appointment. And I felt a little, okay. So I put her back in my system and I started following up with her again and just checking in with her and everything. Next thing I know, I was invited to one of her company events for the first time. Never met her before. At that company event, I was introduced to everybody on her team. And from that, I am actually emceeing her workshop that she's having for her whole team. And they got a sponsor to purchase a bunch of my planners as gifts. So the fortune is in the follow-up. So not only did it turn out to be bigger than I ever imagined, and that I'm being able to help and touch her and her team in a different way than I was expecting, it is just unbelievable. If I just dropped the ball after the first or second time, this would have never happened. This would have never happened. So because I was politely persistent in following up consistently with her and not being a pest, but being politely persistent, it turned into something that is quite substantial. for Powerful Purpose in my business. So, hey, Pat, how are you? We're talking about and you're a master at this. We're talking about how the fortune or the gold is in the follow-up. That when we reach out to people, we can't just do it once. We have to be able to be prepared and have a follow-up strategy in place to consistently follow back up with them. Because when they say no, okay, so if you're having a conversation with somebody and they're like, no, that's not for me, maybe it's not for them right at that point, that's a no for not now. And asking them, okay, I totally understand, but is it okay if that I reach back out to you in 3 months? And just check in and see how you're doing. And majority of the time, they'll say yes. And when they do say yes, the key is to do what you said you were going to do. Now, at that point, you really have to make sure that you do the follow-up and the follow-through that you promise. Because when 3 months come, you might be like, you know what? They never really got back to me. They didn't sound too excited when I talked to them. And then you just justify why you shouldn't be reaching out to them. And the key is if we go back to those statistics, that people are not ready to buy until you follow up with them between 5 and 12 touches, 12 times. And that is because people want a relationship. They don't just want a transaction, okay? So that's why I say the gold is in the follow-up, is really being engaged with that person. If I am having a conversation with somebody about doing private coaching around the productivity coaching that I do, and they are just not in that place to say yes at that particular time, I always go back and say, I totally understand that. I want you to think about this. Think about where you would be if we work together. And is that something that's exciting to you? And if they say yes, that's great. Do you want to get started now? And they're like, no, I can't do that now. Get a confirmation of when it would be okay to come back and follow up with them. And at that point, make sure you follow up. If you say you're going to call them, then give them a call. Don't send them an email. If you say you're going to shoot them an email, don't send them a text, right? Be specific with how you want to follow up and when you want to follow up with them. I know you're really busy and everybody's calendar is busy. Do you mind if I touch base with you next Tuesday around 10 o'clock? Be very specific. It all goes back to setting the boundaries, and that clarity is power in any situation. So if we're portraying clarity with them, then they're going to understand that we want clarity back. If we're kind of wishy-washy in our follow-up, okay, well, I guess I'll give you a call in 6 months, right? And then 6 months come by and you end up calling them in the 7th month. That is portraying that you're not strong in your conviction and you're not strong in the product or the services that you have to offer. And it's even if you're applying for a job and you say, do you mind if I follow back up with you in 10 days? Guess what? You don't follow up in 9 days and you don't follow up in 11 days. You follow up on that 10th day. It's so important. So like my story that I was telling you about, that I was referred to that woman, and I literally stayed in touch with her for 12 months, every single month, just writing her a note. And then she got on my calendar and canceled. And then I followed up with her again, and now I'm running her event in February. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So truly continue to be politely persistent. I just love that, right? Politely persistent. Do you have a story that you to go to when you're feeling a little down? What is the successes that you've had? Get the talk track going, the right information going inside your mind before you start making phone calls or doing contacts. You know, I really find, and my friend Liz talks about this all the time. She's fantastic. Conversation challenge, selling with service. She's absolutely amazing. And she talks about this all the time. Pick up the phone. Follow up on the phone. I was doing that the other day because I have an event coming up with my partner in my LLC, The Art of Showing Up. And it's called The Art of Showing Up, Financial Intelligence, The Way to Financial Freedom. And it's on February 20th at the DoubleTree in Bristol. And we're filling our seats, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing workshop conference, hands-on. So excited about it. But I noticed that, you know, I could sit here and follow up with people on email and instant message all I want. But the minute I schedule a phone call and get on the phone with people, what a difference. What a difference. It's so much more personal. We used to say that in the insurance industry too, is a lot of people, when emails started becoming excessive and accessible for people, the dials went down, the phone calls went down, and it was harder to fill the calendar because then you're back and forth and the follow-up isn't clear when you're emailing each other. But the minute that I picked up that phone and said, hey, he's going to be there in your area on Tuesday between 10 and 3. What time do you want to see him? I was able to nail it down. That is the key in the follow-up. Find the system that works best in your business. What is the system that works best? Thank you. Hi, Damie. What's in the system? What is in your business that works best in your follow-up? Okay. So this is a sales conversation, and most people, believe it or not, are in sales. Even if you work for somebody and you're not selling something, you're still selling yourself, right? So say you have your manager states that he wants to meet with you for your review, right? But there's no date. And it just goes by, and now it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months go by, and you haven't had your review yet. Who should take that step? Now, granted, the manager should be able to do that, but the gold is in the follow-up for you. Reach out, ask them, hey, next Wednesday at 3 o'clock, can we do my review? Take the reins. Be in control of it yourself. Think of it as when you're in your follow-up sequence, if you're a salesperson, like you're in your courting stages, right? You're dating each other. You're getting to know each other. You send an email. You make a phone call. Send a little thank you note. Send an article, whatever. Just build that relationship. That is what's going to result in getting things done. Now, my cousin is in, or was in pharmaceutical sales. It's the same thing. That is not an easy business going into those doctor's offices, right? The gold is in the follow-up, showing back up, knowing what people's names are, who are the gatekeepers to get into the people that you want to see, who are the people that know your clients before you know your clients. How can you build a relationship with them, to follow up with them, to make it happen? Because ultimately, we're doing things that we truly believe in. I hope that's the case. And if we truly believe in these things that we're doing, we want to help people that need our services. So it's our responsibility to follow up and have a follow-up strategy for that. Our responsibility, okay? So what is your follow-up strategy? If you want to hear more about this, please reach out. I'd love to have a conversation. I'd love to hear, if you're on right now, what do you use as your follow-up strategy? I know I had shared mine is once I do a reach out, then I do a phone call, I'll email, I'll instant message, do another phone call to check in. Don't let the ball drop. People are busy. You know you're busy. And if it's not in front of you, or you don't think it's important, or even if it is important, it's not in front of you, but your day is crazy, it's just going to be that one phone call. Okay, that's right. I need to talk to that person. And you pick up the call and you're like, I'm so glad you called. I was meaning to get back to you. So no matter what that conversation is going to be, the gold was in the follow-up there. And it's not no unless they tell you, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay. And you could ask if you want to follow back up around. And if they say no, it's okay. Then you move on to somebody else that truly needs your services. Okay? So have fun with this. Have fun with it. Enjoy your time. I'm just looking at my notes to see if there's anything else that I wanted to share. You know, setting the boundaries around the time and the follow-up. Have a system in place that you could use so you're not just haphazardly going through this is really important. And make a call, ideally. This is the key too, is if you meet with somebody, make a call ideally 24 to 48 hours afterwards. And as long as they say it's okay to do that, ask them would it be good to touch base with you at the end of the week? They may say, you know what, give me until a week and a half, then follow up with them in a week and a half. Not the day before, not the day after, but on the date that you guys established. Okay? So remember, the follow-up is where the fortune, where the gold is, where your reputation is, and where all the amazing things happen. I can't wait to hear your stories. As always, thank you for joining me on the Friday Planning Series. This week, it's all about the gold is the follow-up. You could catch me here, Facebook Live, every single Friday at noon, okay? If you're not on my email list, please jump on powerful-purpose.com and you'll get notifications when I'm going to be on, and all different stories and tips that I love to share during your planning process to truly get things done the way that you want them to get done for the results that you want to have with confidence and no guilt. Pam Drzwicki, I'm your productivity coach, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Have a great weekend. Take care.